The drunk guy at the bar said I was too weak to fight back, not knowing I was a professional boxer. Female boxers only made up like 2% of professional fighters. At 5'4" in a sundress, I looked more like someone's date than someone with 17 knockouts under my belt. Bartenders always carded me twice thinking my ID was fake. Guys at the gym asked if I was looking for the yoga studio next door. Bouncers tried sending me to the wine bar down the street. When this guy who'd clearly had way too many started walking toward my empty corner of the bar, I knew he thought he'd found an easy target. He put himself between me and the rest of the bar and leaned one arm on the counter, which meant I'd have to push past him to leave. His cologne was really strong and probably cost a fortune. He looked me up and down and said, "You must have been stood up. Pretty girls don't drink alone unless something went wrong." When I told him I was just enjoying my drink, he laughed. "You don't need to be embarrassed about getting ditched. Happens to the best of us." He said my dress was trying too hard for attention and I should smile more. My jaw got tight, but I kept my voice calm and polite. I kept hearing my coach's voice in my head about legal problems. After I turned him down a second time, he went from fake nice to straight up mean. "She thinks she's too good for me," he told the bartender loud enough for everyone to hear. He said my purse was obviously fake and I was probably just another girl pretending to have money. Then he ordered a pink shot and slammed it down in front of me hard enough that half of it splashed on my hand. "That's more your speed anyway." Sweet and cheap. The sticky stuff ran between my fingers while he stood there with this stupid smirk on his face. I was getting really mad, but I stayed calm and grabbed some napkins. Things got worse when he told the whole bar that he'd tried to be nice, but I'd rejected him. Must be a lesbian. Or frigid. Probably both. He raised his beer up high. "Here's to dying alone with your cats, sweetheart." When I tried going to the bathroom, he stepped sideways to block me. I had to turn sideways to squeeze past, and his hand knocked my purse off the bar. All my stuff went everywhere on the gross floor. Oops, clumsy me. I got down on my knees to pick everything up while he stood over me laughing. I was grinding my teeth so hard, but I didn't say anything. Once I got back on my stool, he grabbed it and spun me around to face him and put his hand on my knee. When I tried pushing it off, he just pressed harder and his other hand went up to my hair. He wrapped a piece of it around his finger. Such a waste. Someone who looks like you having such an ugly personality. I reached for my phone, but he grabbed it and held it above his head. "Who you gonna call? Your boyfriend who stood you up?" I couldn't reach it while he laughed and waved it around. My breathing got faster while I figured out self-defense angles. Everything went crazy when he yanked me up by my arm hard enough that I knew there'd be bruises later. He took his beer and poured it down the front of my dress. "You looked thirsty." The cold beer soaked through everything while foam ran down my legs. Then he grabbed my jaw and made me look at him. His fingers dug into my face. "You need to learn some respect." He took my keys out of my hand. "You're too emotional to drive anyway. I'm doing you a favor." My hands were balled up so tight my nails were cutting into my palms, but I didn't move. He pulled me closer by my jaw and said, "Let's take this outside where I can teach you properly." That's when I finally did something. My right hand came up in a perfect hook to his temple just like I'd practiced 1,000 times. He dropped right away and hit the floor hard. I was still standing over him when my coach walked in to pick me up like we planned. He looked at the guy on the floor and yelled, "Why is my champion fighter dealing with this garbage?" He told everyone I'd just won regionals last month. The guy woke up with police standing over him and started panicking when he saw everyone staring at him. He tried to sit up but kept falling back down and his voice cracked when he said, "She attacked me for no reason." The cop looked at the security footage and said, "That's the cleanest self-defense I've seen all year." When someone told him I was a professional fighter, his face went white and he started babbling about not knowing and how sorry he was. He got banned from every bar in downtown, and 6 months later I saw him cross the street to avoid walking past me.